Alrighty, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video in the client interview section. I'm joined by James here, who's a very special guest on this interview here. We've been working together for about 2 months now at this point, and he's seen some pretty awesome results. I think he just let me know that he hit 13.4K for October, which is really sick. Um, but James, do you want to just give the audience watching this a little bit of an introduction on like who you are and your kind of story when it comes to making money online and all that stuff?
So I'm just a regular student who goes to college, and I'm also working a 9 to 5 job. And I try to have a lot of business. Like I try to a lot of make money online space, such as drop shipping, digital drop shipping, copywriting. You could name it, like crypto.
Yeah.
But in total, I spent about 27K just on the course and mentorship itself. But then I didn't see success in the
So
beginning.
27K you were spending on like different programs trying to learn how to make money online.
So I was down 27K just by starting off with like the first
Dang.
7 to 8 months just trying out new things. Like I was just basically lost because they make it sound like it's gonna work the first couple months of you joining the program, right? But then they're selling the business model, not the skill set, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yep. Got it. And so currently working a full-time job and also in college, and then you were trying to make money online on top of that. Did you have like Did you ever have any fears or concerns that having all that stuff on your plate might like hold you back or stop you from making money online?
It does, but then people say that I should do it for myself, but then I always think to myself that I have to do it for my parents, do it for my like friends to prove people that I will tell me that I can't do it. Like, so I'm basically doing it for other people, which people might say it's not good, but that's what motivates me.
Hmm.
And it does have a lot of late night and a lot of lonely nights actually, where I was in despair. I was panicking the whole time. I was like, damn, like, is this gonna work out? Like, I just lost the client. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
But then it's more about just volume, like sheer volume. Because this game of sales, what I realized for the past 2 months is it's basically a numbers game. If you put in more work in hours, like you're gonna get it. Whoever puts in more time is gonna win. Because at the end of the day, it's a competition. It's a one-on-one person-to-person competition. Because if you close on a client, someone else lost an opportunity to close on that client, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I realized, that even though it may sound like a team effort, at the end of the day, this is an individual game where you got to spend more time in closing the client. So yeah,
Yeah. So
so I
you almost like
it's
saw it as like, hey,
a
I'm going
game.
to college, I'm working this job, but I still need to make it work. I still need to put in the time. I still need to figure out a way to just make it happen, really.
Because there's no way out. Like I can't just hope that something's gonna stick without putting in the time, right?
Yeah.
Like basically after 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. I was free, right? But then I realized that I had other things to do, like such as go to the gym, cook, like do the homework, right? Like obviously, like I'm still a student, right?
Yeah.
So I then realized then I gotta cut some sleep, right? Because I can't have everything. So I definitely reduced some time going to the gym because I'm a gym man. Yeah, I went from 2 hours to going to the gym to about an hour a day, and
Yeah.
then I cut my sleep to like 4 hours a day at one point. But like
Did that
that's
wear
what it
you out
took.
at all?
Yeah. What?
Did 4 hours of sleep a day wear you out at all? Because that's not too
I
much,
was
man. Like,
dying. I'll be honest with you, I was dying, right? But
yeah,
then me seeing the money coming into my bank account really motivated me. And then
sure.
I had this vision board on my phone, like I still do. Like, oh, my bad. I changed it by the way. After making the money, I got comfortable. But
Ah,
my
okay.
point is, I had a vision board on my phone background, which I was constantly looking at. And then I was like, damn, like I gotta achieve this. I gotta get this goal. And then the only time, like, I'll be honest with you, I was about to give up like last month because I was in despair. I lost like 2 clients. I was like, man, this is kind of ass, right? So
Yeah, man. Yeah. And so I guess like this might seem like a dumb question, but I think it's important to ask this because you and I think the same about this, but and I think a lot of the audience does as well, but why not just continue with the college route and continue just working your 9 to 5 job and just live, I guess, like an average life? Why not just do that?
that's a very good question. So everyone knows the obvious answer, right? They know that they can't just settle for where they are, right?
Yeah.
And what I think makes the difference is an action taker and someone who just only thinks about it, knowing that they have to change, but not take actions, right?
Mm,
But me not wanting to be like the others was the main motivator. Like, I don't want to be like the rest of them. Like, it may sound a bit rude or like weird, but I didn't want to be the normal, if that makes sense.
yeah.
Because I live by this motto of like, you only live once, right? And basically, hypothetically, it's not going to happen, but I'm going to die tomorrow. If I were to die tomorrow, like, I want to live a life that people can remember, right? And if I want to be remembered, I got to make a change. But then I got to change, right? So, like, I have to be not normal, which makes sense, which is kind of weird in a sense. But that was the main reason why I wanted to take action, right?
Yep.
Me not trying to be normal because being normal, I thought was good, but then in a sense, it was hurting me in the long term, right? That is
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like throughout school and throughout like high school and college, you're kind of taught to be normal and to not be different. But then once you get to a certain point, you realize that being normal actually sucks. Like
yeah,
you don't have much flexibility, you don't have much freedom, you can't really do the things you actually want to do with your life. And so you kind of have to force yourself to be different and to do things that most people would not do so that you can get results that most people will not get, right?
yeah.
Um, so 100% there. And so you started looking into ways to make money online. And over the course, I think you said of about like 8 months, you spent like 20 grand on different programs, courses,
Yeah.
mentorships. Um, and then obviously now, after this month coming off a record month of hitting 13.4K, like what do you think was the difference there between the programs in the past that maybe didn't work the best versus where you are now?
So this is what I realized only recently is that you have to learn the skill sets to be successful at any kind of business model. Like,
Yep.
I'm not saying drop shipping, SMMA can't work. Those are awesome. Those are great business model as itself. Like, those are
Yep.
perfect models, if I want to say. But it only works for someone who has a skill set and the assets to execute it properly. But then I didn't realize because these gurus are telling me or they're selling me the models, not the skill sets. They're like, join this business model, like, and then you can make 20K the next. No, that's not how it works. You have to have a certain skill sets to properly manage. Because, for example, in digital dropshipping or any kind of dropshipping, you have to learn how to advertise. You have to learn how to sell, create a funnel, how to pitch, like everything, right? There's more than just the model itself.
Finding
And I think that
products.
was,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like there's
that
a
was the
long
biggest
list.
problem. Me not having the skill sets, right? So this program that which I'm in right now with Trevor, with you, taught me the basic skill sets, right? So before I joined this program, I first started by learning content creation, right? Content creation was the basis of my first skill set. And then I added on and I stacked upon that skill set on as sales, right?
Yeah.
So having those two skill sets really helped me scale myself as almost like a freelancer, if that makes sense, and made myself valuable within the market, right?
Yeah.
Because not only am I a
100%.
sales guy, I could help them scale their content, right? So
Yeah. 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 And we can talk about that more for sure. And you're 100% right. Like most of these gurus that talk about how to make money online or anything like that, what they do is they share with you a business model and they share with you how that business model works on paper, but they don't share with you how to actually build the skills required to run that business model. And inside of my program, like I talk about this too, and you know this, like any business model can work. The problem is most people don't have the skills required in order to run most business models. And that's why most programs out there, like you said, you spent 20K. There's a lot of people that join these programs and they have like a 5 to 10% success rate.
yeah,
Like it's bad because they don't focus on actually building the skills. And they just flex their lifestyle in order to sell more courses and coaching programs. So 100%. And so taking a step back here, coming off of a 13.4K month, which is obviously doing pretty well. I don't know if you're happy or upset with that if you want to go even further. But I guess like what is the long-term goal for James? Like where do you want to be a couple months, couple of years from now? Like where do you kind of see yourself?
So for now, I didn't expect to be like this, but then I realized that everyone starts off as like a freelancer, if I want to say, right? Like, because you're not gonna build your first agency from the first couple months, right? So by building up a skill set, even though I did start off by saying I'm not gonna work for someone else, I am kind of working for someone else, which is kind of ironic.
Yeah, yeah,
But after building my skill sets like and refining it and having some, savings, I'm gonna be starting my own agency in the end, which I'm gonna
yeah,
scale up, or maybe even create my personal brand, right? Teaching and sharing my journey, like you're doing with your own stuff, right?
yep.
That should be the end goal because I feel like content creation is the way to go. But
Hmm.
to get there, I need to be able to have a lot more skill sets and able to refine them, right? Able to find my skill sets.
Yep, for sure, for sure. So just continuing to level up those skill sets, you would say, for a couple months or maybe a year or something like that from now, and then you can kind of build that agency off the
Yeah.
back of those skills.
Maybe even start learning a new skill, right? Like and then stacking up. Because like if I have like 10 different skill sets, boom, I'm like an agency myself, right? I feel like
Yeah,
having those skill sets mastered is like crucial, right?
dude. Yeah. I mean, I know for me, like I learned the skill of sales a couple of years ago. And then I started learning marketing and then I started learning content creation. And the skill that I'm actively focused on learning now, which is going to get me to the next level, is actually like leadership and speaking. And so like this doesn't just apply to the beginners watching this video right now that are like looking to build their first skill. This happens throughout life. Like you have
Yeah.
to continuously focus on developing and building up skills, and that game never stops. So, 100%, man, 100%. And was there anything inside of my program specifically that like had you change your entire perspective? I know you mentioned the idea of skills and building skills, right? And that's important. But was there anything about the program or inside the coaching calls or in the course or anything like that that like really like changed your whole view and outlook?
There's actually a couple if I'm being honest. So let me start with the basics. So with the coaching calls that you have with like our team or with your clients, right?
Yep.
You have this weekly group coaching call, as you know, on like how to master your closing and how to get better at closing or mindset, right? Those coaching calls actually do help me, like even to this day, like because sometimes I'm like really busy and I can't really like dial in on certain things because right now I'm working to help people scale their business, right? But then
Yep.
I'm able to take a step back and refine my skill, even if I'm not working as a closer, right? So that's really helping me right now at this point to scale my skill set or scale my business. And specifically with the course, I like how it's very casual. It's not like crazy edits, but it's very raw and very like truth. It's very truthful. There's no like gatekeeping. It's very you're very showing everything. Like you're showing from A to Z how it's done. That's the
Yep.
beauty of your course, in my opinion. And you basically focus mostly on building skill sets, which is what I like, right? Which I
Yep.
think is the way to get to your first 10K a month. Because like I'll be honest with you, drop shipping, you could get to a 10K a month, but it's more like going from zero to $1 million a month, right? But then just with the skill set itself, I feel like it's definitely doable to go from zero to 10K a month, in my
Yep.
opinion, right? More easy if you want to say it like that. But
Yeah. Yeah. And so a question kind of going off of the back of that. I mean, we started working together about 2 months from now, and or 2 months ago rather. And over the course of those 2 months, I mean, you picked up this the skill of sales and you learned it really, really quickly. So was there anything in particular about like your way of studying or learning information that helped you learn these skills faster? Because learning the skill of sales is
yeah,
something that takes a long time for most people, but like you learn that pretty quick.
I think it's volume negates luck. That just sums it all up. If you put in more time, it's not about really about the effort, it's more about the time and the more outreaches you do. Like if you do more outreach than the guy next to you, you're gonna learn more
Yeah.
because sales only comes from experience, right? If you hop on more calls, And if you do more outreach, you're going to learn more skills, right? It's, I could like basically learn the theories from all the mentors, the best mentors, but I will never be the best until I execute it myself, right?
Yep.
So me spending the time and just cutting on my sleep, I'll be honest with you, sometimes I didn't even sleep, right? Because I was so hooked up on me, like booking the meetings, hopping on calls. But
Dude, I
like,
mean, dude, if you have a goal and you want it bad enough, that happens, man.
yeah,
Like I wake up in the middle of the night sometimes. I'm like, shit, I gotta do something.
I gotta hop on these calls because I gotta close
Yeah.
them, right? Like if my clients is available at 4 a.m., I'm gonna wake up at 4 a.m. and book a call with them and close them, right? So it's almost about how bad do you want it, right? That's
Yeah.
if you want it bad enough, like you're gonna grow. Like if you're gonna learn a lot more than the guy next to you. And I basically just did a lot more. I just did sheer volume. That's how I competed with the other
Yep.
guys because some of the guys started earlier than me. But I think what did get me to 13 point K a month, yeah, 13.4K a month was just sheer volume, just sheer out. Like I had like 20 outreaches per day, out like at least 20 outreaches, even with all the closing calls that I had.
Yep.
And when I was starting, by the way, I had about 60 outreaches a day, which is kind of crazy. And then I was booking like 8 calls a day. And that was the reason why I think I was able to scale my personal business, if you want to quote on like, yeah.
Your
So
freelancing business.
yeah, my freelancing of how to get to 10K a month. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And obviously like putting in the work and putting in the hours and putting in the reps is arguably the most important thing. And that goes for anything in life. Like it's the same in the gym. If you just put in more reps than the person next to you, you're
Yeah.
gonna grow your muscles or whatever. I got a question for you though. This is gonna be pretty interesting. What would you say to somebody that's like looking at making money online and maybe they're seeing all these different business models, but they're like looking for something that's going to be like easier. They don't want to
Mm.
put in all these reps. What would you say to them?
So, like I said, right, like going back to the point, you could go and try all these business model. Yes, they're gonna work, but I'm telling you, learning the basic skill sets such as sales, which I think is the pretty good place to start.
Hmm.
If you go and dial in on one skill set and put in the time and effort, you're gonna make it, right? People quit right before they make like I think that's just so true because if you stick with it long enough, you're gonna see money. Like you're gonna see sales in the end, right?
Yeah.
But people just try for a month and hope that it sticks, right? And that's not how like I think the reason why I was able to make it to 13.4K a month was because of all the failures I had for the last 7 to 8 months, right? Because I was in the space of make money online for about 8 months, right? And I've been constantly failing. And that's when I realized I can't just be switching business model. I can't just hop around models, like you said, right? And that's actually, you told me that I can't be hopping around this different business model, hoping that one works, right? I got to stick to one thing and actually scale with that. Because if
Yeah.
I'm really good at that, I'll make money, right? That's the most important thing. So I
Yep.
would tell people to actually just pick one and just, even though you may have a lot of skeptics, like doubts, right? I would just pick one and just go with it and trust the process, right? That's just, it's easiest to set, like it's so easy. Like I don't know what to say. Like you just gotta do it, right? But people are
Yeah.
just so afraid to do it, right? But
Yeah. And I mean, this happens a lot in the make money online space. Like people start a new business model, they find a little bit of progress in it, but they don't like make it yet. They don't make 5K, 10K per month or whatever. So they have a little bit of progress, but it's not too much. And then they end up quitting. And then they jump to the next business model. And then they do the same thing again. And the problem is that the skills and the experience that you developed in that first business model, it doesn't translate to the next one. And so
yeah,
now you have to start over again, as you know. And if you don't break out of that process and if you don't put a stop to it, that's where you can waste a ton of money, a lot of time, and do all that stuff. So your biggest piece of advice to somebody is like just pick a business model like
just
sales
stick to it.
or a business model that's predicated on building a skill and then just stick to it and just make it work.
Yeah,
Sick,
because
sick.
if you stick with it long enough, you're gonna see sales. That's yeah.
Definitely, man. And what would you say to somebody watching this video right now? Maybe they've been watching my YouTube channel for a little bit.
Yeah.
or they've been, seeing me talk about the program or seeing me talk about all this info product sales, like what is this stuff? And they're like thinking about trying it out. They're thinking about giving it a shot. They're thinking about investing. They're thinking about trying it. Or maybe they're on the fence. Maybe they're like, I don't know,
Yeah.
should I do it? Should I not? What would you say to them?
I would say just book a call. Just try it out. Like literally, like what bad can I do to you, right? If you don't think it's right for you after call, like hopping on a call and seeing the business model yourself, you could not do it, right? But how would you know if it's bad or good, like good or bad for you until you actually know about it, right? Like,
Yep.
yes, you can learn so much from watching like your YouTube videos, but until you actually try it out and commit to it, and I think this is so important because people think they could just commit to it without investing, right? But to learn anything in life properly and commit to it, you gotta invest. Because even at first, I'll be honest with you, when I hopped on a call with you, I still remember this. I wasn't ready to fully commit. But then you
Yeah.
said, how can you fully commit to it? And one of your best students, most of your best students actually commit to it fully by paying all the price, right? So I think that's an important thing to know, right? Because you can't just expect to learn and commit to like a whole new skill set for free. That's just not how it works, right? Everything
Yeah.
comes with a proper price.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you invest money, it literally forces you to take it serious.
Yeah.
Like if you don't invest money, you can just say 2 weeks after, oh, I tried it. It didn't work. I can just give up now. But when you invest money, like you
You
have
have
to
to make
make
it
it
work.
work. Exactly.
That
And
was my
when
mindset.
Yeah, exactly. It's a perfect testimony right here. And when you have to make it work, what I've found is us as humans, when we have no other choice but to make it work, we usually find a way. And so,
Yeah.
100% there. Well, cool. Anything else? Any other pieces of advice for the audience watching this right now that you could give here?
My honest advice is because people who's watching this video probably stumble upon you trying out new models, right? Trying out new business model within the space. I would just tell them, get off your phone and just stick to one thing, right? Like that will save them so much money and so much time in the end, right? And they're gonna thank me later.
100%.
I guarantee it, right? Because I was in that same, like, I don't want to swear, but like I was in that same bad place, right? In the past. And I want to tell them, try it out. Why not?
Yeah, man. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for that. Hopefully the audience got some value out of this interview. And you guys take care and have a fantastic rest of your day.
Yeah. Thanks, Trevor.